Well, hello there, this is David with DaveFish84. Welcome to another episode. We're here in Morehead City, fishing around the Atlantic Beach Bridge right now. Gosh, it is really humid. A lot of fog coming off the water. My glasses are fogging up, but it's foggy here. And it's nice. It's almost 70 degrees out. Beautiful, beautiful day. We're after some sheephead, and maybe if we're really fortunate, I'll find some gray trout as well. But you know, I wanted to go back up in the creeks and fish for speckled trout, but there's more boats than there are fish right now, so I figured weather's nice, let's mix it up. Let's go after my favorite eating fish, sheephead. Just enjoy ourselves, and you know, this is an area where you never know what's gonna happen. Anything could be here. So I'm trolling with a rattle trap right now, just in case I can pick up a trout or some mystery crazy fish. But we're not too far away from the first spot I want to drop. The water is crystal clear. Definitely gonna be dropping down the GoPro and checking things out with clear water. Hopefully we'll get some cool underwater footage. I just love that stuff, learning the structure and learning the way the fish are acting around that structure and what's actually down there. Because you know, you might get some bites, you might catch some fish, but it's amazing when you drop a camera down just what's actually there. So many fish and things that you would never imagine without actually seeing it. So I'm excited to get the cameras down there, get some bait in the water. I'm using some sand fleas and some shrimp on my double hook bottom rig, and I got some bottom sweepers as well. If we snag up, hopefully we won't lose it. But anyhow, I'm excited to be out here. All right, good. He's going to the right side there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Just got to keep my wits about me all the time. That's the big key here. See, the nice thing is there's a barrier here, so I don't get a huge wave on me. Got to watch in front of me and behind me. So I'm going to cut these shrimp up into just little chunks like that. Go ahead and get a bunch of them ready, because if they're here, we'll go through them. Okay, I'll try that for now. I'm gonna try the spot for a little bit, and then I want to move back behind me, because I think the definitely can get some sheephead here, hopefully. But for the black drum, which I also want to be in on, and possible sea trout, got to get back in the canal where it's much deeper. But let's rig up and see what happens. If there's sheephead here, likely they're gonna bite right away. And if I get bites after a while and some fish, I'm gonna put the camera down. If I don't get any bites, I'm gonna put the camera down. Either way, I think it's going to be a really interesting learning experience. You know, if I get bit and if I don't get bit. You know, if I don't get bit and we put the camera down, there's a bunch of fish down there, and then we got some questions to ask. Why? And or if I'm getting bit, well, what's biting me and what's not? Because I think a lot of times you get bit by some fish, but there's a lot of fish down there that aren't biting you, or you're just missing. Either way, we're going to learn something really cool today, I'm sure of it. Here we go with our first drop. It's only about 6 to 8 foot deep here. The other spot we'll be fishing is about 19 to 20 foot. But I know when they're here real good. We got to find out, are they shallow or deep or both? We should find that out pretty quick here. Just gonna kind of slowly maneuver myself around the pilings here, and if they're here, it'll happen. If not, drop the camera down, check it out, keep moving. There's a bite. That was a solid bite. Might have been a sheep. Oh, yep. Come on. That boat is gonna come right through where I am. Sucks. Those other two saw me and went around me. He's gonna go right through here. Stinks. He's definitely gonna push me right up in the pile. That stinks. I hate it when that happens. Some people are real observant and really considerate. Some people not so much. Thankfully we're not getting too bad of a wake from him, but it's gotta always be so on edge. It's the one thing I really don't like about this spot. So we did get a couple bites. Both shrimp are on both hooks still, thankfully. But they were solid thud. Not that, you can tell the difference between a sheephead, like here he is right now, and like a pinfish feels like a machine gun. Where a sheephead is usually like a a solid bite, or it'll just be mush. And this time of year, a lot of those junk fish like the pinfish and sea bass will move out, and it'll just be sheephead. Got one more piece of shrimp on there. Not sure what we're dealing with down there, but that's the other thing I'm interested in with that camera, is what species am I going to see down there? Is it only sheephead, or are there other things still here? Are there still sea bass and other things down there in any numbers? Yes, we got a sheephead, and it's a keeper. Suspended that one up off the bottom. That right there is sashimi dinner for me right there. I mean, I like the big ones for barbecue, but these small ones, really good for doing sashimi. It'll be 10 inches to keep. This one will be 11 inches for sure. Awesome. Again, I've been fishing them off the bottom, and that time I actually held my rod kind of suspended while I was trying to put my hoodie on, and I saw that rod bounce down. I picked it up, and he just was after it. It's only about 3 foot underneath my kayak there, so that is very helpful. Always got to be learning what is going on and be able to adapt to what's working and what's not. So we just figured out that suspending the bait, they got a lot more aggressive with it. A lot more aggressive with it on the bite there. So we'll try that a few more times. Again, I was trying to put my hoodie on and then decided to just put it down. It's like kind of suspended a little bit below the kayak. Got her done. Alright, so look how fast these boats go by. That's why you got to be always paying attention. They go flying by. Alright, so I'm just re-rigging right now. I'm going to suspend these off the bottom like I just did for that last one. Let's see if we can reproduce that real quick. So that's all I got the tails on there on both of them. This is that bottom rig double hooked. That honestly, big shout out to YouTube channel Off Kilter. Is another YouTuber that's local here. Learned a lot from him, and if you haven't checked him out, go ahead and check him out. Off Kilter Fishing. He's a pro when it comes to sheephead and black drum. Learned a lot from him, and thank you. I've come a long way because of your videos. All right, I'm about to drop it down. I got a lot of bites here and misses. I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to go to another spot. Before we do, I'm going to drop this camera down and see what's down there. Now, to be honest, I knew this was going to be educational, but I had no idea just how educational this was going to be. Not only was there a good amount of sheephead down here, but wait till you see how they're interacting with my bait. Now, you can see I was struggling a bit to get this camera in position, but so interesting when you see what's going to happen here. Ever wonder why these things can be so hard to hook? Here you go. Look at this. Expert grabbing that bait right behind the hook. He's not putting the hook in his mouth. He's just taking the back part of it, pulling that bait off. And this is the thing, when they're not fully committed, they can just peck at it, and they're experts at it, looking at this bait and just grabbing it right from the back of the hook. Of course, when you get them wound up, they'll just inhale and swim off with it, but I thought this was just so interesting. I was getting tons of bites, couldn't hook them. And yeah, there's a lot of fish, but these are all really small. There's not a single fish down in this video that is of any size. These are all in that 10-inch, maybe 12-inch range. But super interesting how they're interacting with this bait. You see it again, it's right from the back of the hook. That hook is not in his mouth. You could not hook that fish. I'm curious if I had had a bunch of bait on those hooks, just kind of covering those hooks up with bait. how much more aggressive they would have been. I'm assuming they probably would have been a lot more aggressive. But I mean, those hooks are pretty bare. That's part of the problem there. Check this out. I just about got swamped here. Unbelievable, the waves that just came through here from somebody. I don't know how that happened, but the waves just came at a terrible angle. I had 4-foot swells coming up over the side of my boat, dashing me up into here. Well, I said you gotta be so careful. A boat didn't even come close to me. It just came at a really bad angle. That could have been bad. It came out of nowhere. Absolutely ridiculous. This is when I got my GoPro down trying to get underwater footage when that just happened. That was insane. It was really bad. Worst experience I've had out here. I got that one sheephead at my first spot. Lots of bites. I just couldn't hook up. I think they were small fish and they just weren't committing to really eating it well. I've moved over to the main canal. I've gone through the GoPro underwater, so I can't wait to see what we see, if anything. Haven't had a single bite over here yet. I'm gonna move around to a couple different areas, but we're losing light fast. It's been really, really slow. I've got one fish here. I got a trout last night. That's in my refrigerator right now, so I'm gonna have enough to eat, but so far, yeah, I've been really slow. It's the thing with fishing, you never know. You can absolutely kill them, and sometimes it can be really, really tough. Finally getting a good bite here. Finally. There is a fish down there. Just getting ready to move. Some more shrimp. That was a halfway decent bite. Alright. I say a spot like this, it makes no sense for there to be nothing here. This is like, got to have fish on it. Got to. Alright, nice fresh piece of shrimp. Put it down there. See if we can pick up one more of these sheephead here. Last time I fished this spot was with my buddy in his boat. We did pretty good. We got several black drum, a handful of sheephead, including that pretty nice one that my buddy got with the mirror lure, which is crazy. And I lost a really good one right at the boat. I was using a quick release that I use for lures on a barrel swivel attached to my bottom rig. And when he came up fighting near the top, it was going crazy and it came off. The barrel swivel came off the quick release and I lost that fish. I was so upset. It was a 17, 18 inch sheephead, would have been the biggest one of the day. So frustrated with that. So I learned my lesson. No more quick releases for that kind of setup. That was just a stupid amateur lazy mistake I made. I paid for being lazy and not just retying properly. But anyway, we did really good here last time. There's a bite right there. Okay, there's fish here. Good deal. Back down there. Okay, maybe we'll still make something happen here after all. Getting really foggy out here. Gonna have to put on my safety light here. Going back for sure. When I first got here, there was a bite. It was foggy. Then it cleared up some, and now it's getting real foggy again. Come on, fish. Commit to them. Pulling it up off the bottom. I got a bite on the bottom. Sometimes I like to pull it up and suspend it. I feel like sometimes it gets some fish to be more aggressive, get a better bite. They'll swim up for it and then try to swim back down to the bottom of it. Ooh, oh, I should have got that fish. I felt it. It's hanging on to a piece of bait. All right, we got a chance here. Went from just totally dead to I'm consistently getting some action here now. So I have another fisherman coming in here possibly. Well, thanks for the rodeo I'm about to have, guys. Look at this. Look at this. That's the ones I talk about. I got no respect right there. And they're drunk, clearly. too bad, but seriously, you know. It's clear when you see the people that show respect and slow down for you. Not everybody does. Oh well, not the end of the world. Just gonna get back in position after that and get back down there. These fish are biting now, so we need to make something happen while I still got light. If the black drum were here, could fish into the dark with. I need to buy, now that I got the media mod for this, I gotta buy some lights. I see that I can get light attachments to this so we can have some actual filming in the dark, because I've had some good fishing in the dark and no footage because, well, GoPros aren't very good for night shots, but if I had a good light, it could be halfway decent. There he is again. Come on. Come on, give me that bite that I need to hook you. Come on. Pulling up off the bottom. See if I can entice this thing to really, really eat this thing. Who knows how many are down there? Could be a whole mess of them or just one or two. Yeah, there he is. That was a good bite right there. Come on. That was a good bite. I'm pretty sure it's a sheephead. Commit to it. Come on. Eat it. It's just pecking at it. Like a thud. Thud. It's not taking it that good yet. But you know, sometimes big ones will bite like that before you get them. The sheephead can be interesting. Sometimes they'll really take it, and sometimes they'll just peck at it like this. My shrimp might already be gone. A lot of bites. And it just stopped. Got plenty of shrimp left. Got some sand fleas. I might want to try throwing a sand flea on one of these. I'm doing shrimp on one and sand flea on the other. We'll try that. There are all a lot of sand fleas at Chasing Tails. You know, you can only have so many for the year. I'm gonna get my own sand flea net or rake, whatever they call them, and take my kids out and make a trip out of it. Just stock up for the year on my own. Sinks can be expensive, $7 a container, but I've got some in my freezer still from other trips. Yeah, we'll see. These sand fleas can be very, very effective. I'm drifting out of the zone here. We'll see. All right, let's get back in there. I'm kind of off the mark here. We don't want to sin here. We don't want to be off the mark. Got to keep on the straightened path, you know what I mean? Got to stay where those fish are, especially when you're pinched for time. We know they're over here, so let's get on them. Okay. Back in there, I got a piece of shrimp on one hook, sand flea on the other, and see if we can make this happen here. Okay. Back in position. Now the other thing is, it's not that I'm so worried about the fish not biting here in a while, because that is a problem. The bigger issue is that there's a good bite. I could be getting bites and catching fish, but I don't have enough lights to film it. Like that one night, I was catching them into the dark really good, but I got no footage whatsoever. So I'm gonna look into getting those lights for sure. Good bite. Come on, come on, come on. They're definitely sheephead. I'm gonna go. Well, I think I'm gonna go through a lot of bait here real quick. They're biting like really good. Now I'm gonna set the hook a lot until I get one. Come on, fish. Bet my crab's gone. Got him. Got him. Decent fish. Yeah. Keeper sheephead. Once in a while you hook them like you just set the hook. This is what happens. This fish got snagged in the belly. And that does happen from time to time. When they're being stupid and picking at it, not biting it right, they just kind of swim over it a lot, end up getting snagged. So it's worth setting a hook every once in a while when you're having a hard time when they're being picky like that, because you'll get some fish in the boat. Check this one. Like I said, I think there's a lot of them down there like that. They're all right at the borderline of being keepers or not. They got a 10. It's a keeper. Okay. They're not slammers by any means, but when you work this hard and you're trying to get some groceries, that's a good meal. Those things are so darn good. So I'm gonna do the same thing: a sand flea on one and a shrimp on the other. And again, if you're new to this channel, what I like to do is I hook these sand fleas from the back, right where it has a kind of like a mini lobster tail on that side of it, so it comes out where that tail is. There's eggs and stuff there, and they usually want that part, so they'll inhale it and get the hook that way. Put a piece of shrimp on the other. Okay, let's get back down in there. See if we can do this again. Hey, we got 2. And hey, again, also, if you're new to this channel or sheephead fishing, look at the spikes on these things. I don't know if I've ever shared this on this, but I need to tell you about this. This is a small one, 10 inches. I've gotten these things, you know, up 20 inches. This last summer. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay. My rod just went over the side to the bottomless. Make sure I can snag that thing. What the heck? Well, things got a little crazy there. Not the ending I was hoping for. The bite was just picking up. I just picked up another sheephead, and I think we would have been in for a couple more. And then, yeah, again, second time on film, a rod off the kayak in the water. That was my favorite rod. It's my favorite sheephead and black drum rod. I loved jigging with that rod. It was just sensitive, and it had the perfect amount of strength and bend. Like, it was fun. It was a fun rod, and I had a great reel. I just switched over. I had a reel I had bought when I lived in China on there. It did surprisingly well. Love the drag sound on that. Today, I switched over today because that old reel from China seized up on me. I put my my very nice Shimano reel on there that I used to catch those big bull drum, and I loved it. It was working great. Gone. I tried for an hour to snag that thing, but go figure, the current picked up like crazy, and I think it swept it away. It's gone. It's 20-some foot of water with some swift current, so it's gone. That was a major bummer. All right, so this is it. This is the sashimi that I was telling you about. It's so good. I basically just took a small amount of that sheephead, sliced it into real thin, small pieces. Have some soy sauce, like sashimi style or sushi style soy sauce, some wasabi, and that's all there is to it. The rest of it I'm going to use, I'll show in another video how I do barbecued or sauteed. I have a lot of different recipes for sheephead and other fish, but this is one of my favorites. I'm a huge sushi and sashimi lover, and I found this is just an amazing fish for it. To be able to go out and catch your own fresh sashimi, raw, I mean just fresh as we can get it, it's an incredible benefit to sheephead fishing. Not only is it super fun and addictive, it's incredible eating. So I just put a little in the soy sauce, just a tiny bit. I love to have just a little hit, that wasabi, the flavor, and that hit of spice. Amazing. Wow. If people only knew how good this was. Seriously, it's incredible. I don't want to overpower it. The fish is so good. Just a little hint of soy sauce and wasabi. That's all you need. It's killer. I could eat this all the time. In fact, I do eat it pretty regularly. That's what I'm saying. Like, those small sheephead are perfect for this. Great big one, you could easily do this with. But with those, I like to do big fillets on the barbecue grill. But the smaller ones, I particularly like to do sashimi with. And I actually don't keep all the sheephead I catch. That was a grind of a day, and we only ended up with 2. It was hard, really hard fishing. You know, what drives me nuts is that this last year, actually, is a good thing. So this last year, I got on the sheephead so good. I really dialed it in and figured them out. Spent a lot of time on them. Had so many videos done with like banner days, limiting out on sheephead and black drum. some real good quality fish, some great content. I had a catastrophic accident happen with a hard drive, lost everything, not just sheephead, but bull drum, lots of great creek fishing for red drum, like gigantic dinosaur-sized gar, all kinds of content. It was a lot of stuff. It was a huge loss. But the good news is that I dialed it in. I figured it out. This next year, or this year right now, is going to be amazing. I'm going to spend a lot of time targeting sheephead and making videos about it. So if you like this, expect a lot more. This was a really tough day. And that's the thing with sheephead fishing, is it is ever-changing. Some days you can do amazing, other days it's really hard. And a lot of it is not so much what you're using as much as the time of day. There's times when they're only going to hit shrimp real good, or sand fleas, fiddler crabs, mud crabs, mussels, different types of baits. They might home in on better than other times, but really it's about when they're feeding. There's ways you can coerce these fish into getting more aggressive. I'm going to talk about that in future videos. However, a big thing has to do with tide, and when they want to bite, man, you can't stop them. Like, from putting the video down like you saw on this one and other ones I've done, there's a lot more sheephead down there than you think. You might be getting little bites or nothing, but there's a ton of sheephead. The population of those fish is really good, and when they decide to turn on, it can be on fire. But even when it's not good, if you can get a few for a sashimi dinner like this, I can't complain. It's always fun being out there. And like I said, you can expect a lot more sheephead fishing from this channel, black drum, all that kind of stuff. There's so many things we'll be doing this year. I'm excited about. I hope you are. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you learned something from this. If you have, please consider giving a thumbs up, and even more so, subscribing to this channel. Thank you all that already have been supporting this channel the way you have. Love and appreciate you all. And as always, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one. Yeah.